So Hinduism is the object of protection. Hindutva is both the sword as well as the shield to protect that particular Hindu nature. That's the answer. Now, from my perspective, what does it translate to? I've clearly said in the first book that a civilizational attempt at rediscovering your roots and reinscribing your values on the political establishment is Hindutva. And it is perfectly justified. We don't need to be apologetic about it even one bit.
So Hinduism can coexist peacefully along with Hindutva. They don't need to be in dissonance with each other?
The existence of Hinduism in the current day is predicated on Hindutva being kept alive. If Hinduism were living in peacetime, Hindutva will sleep. But if that's not the case, Hindutva has to stand up. It is the Kshatriya aspect of Hinduism.
Oh, that's profound. Okay.
Now coming to the
Dharma and Sanatana
Dharma, there is no distinction. To the best of my limited knowledge as an untrained person, my training has just about begun. See, Dharma is seen as a code of conduct. But if you go deeper, what is the meaning of Dharma? It comes from Rita is the root. From Rita, which is effectively righteousness in thought, it comes down to Satya, which is righteousness in speech. And Dharma is righteousness in action. So it is Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. That is the three-layered philosophy between this. So Dharma is the final manifestation of Rita.
Okay.
Therefore, Rita is what is right and righteous according to cosmological balance.
This whole thing about Hindutva is going to come up because the Congress in Karnataka, I'm coming back to the present, the Congress in Karnataka keeps talking about the BJP being, that they are extremists. I think the word is ugragami that is used against the BJP, that they are extremists of Hinduism and that is going to disrupt peaceful society in Karnataka. Now, there are several elections which are coming about. This whole thing about who is a Hindu is something that is going to come again and again. And there is going to be weaponization of political Hinduism.
Correct.
That's going to happen.
Right.
What do you see the future of this intellectual debate degenerating into this?
Political discourse is rarely intellectual. You know this better than I do. It has no space for nuance. It has no space for layers. It has no space for patience. Which is why I stay away from the hustle and bustle and the ebb and tide of daily politics, because that's not my concern. My investment, hopefully, and the investment of my time is in the society. Because my hope is that a more Hindu-conscious society will produce better options as and when the times call for it, because I think it will, or they will. And therefore, this nonsensical discussion that happens at the political platform, I don't think anybody knows what they're talking about beyond a point. And I'm not saying this from a position of arrogance. I am saying this as a student of the subject, as someone who understands political science, that I don't know if they are capable of actually having this discussion at length beyond a primetime television debate. Because that would really show what is the depth of their knowledge and their understanding of their own positions. If you're not looking at the ideologues of a particular movement, you're looking at people who are contesting elections.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't want to even give them, and let's be real, I can't expect them to know Sanatana Dharma in its most profound best.
But they are the practitioners and they are the ones who are influencing voting public. So you know how important that is, right?
So between you and me, let's agree on one thing. Societal discussion has a certain degree of nuance. By the time it percolates, let's say it telescopes into a political discussion, that nuance comes out. But even the societal discussion doesn't usually have nuance. It is then in the intellectual elites where the nuance actually comes. So I would basically apply the Hindu philosophy of Desha Kala Samaya, which is to say, this platform requires a broad attack on a particular position or a broad exposition of a certain position. I can't help the fact that the nature of the process and the nature of the platform doesn't lend itself to nuance. But does it capture the broad essence of it? I would say it does.
I didn't understand Desha Kala Samaya.
Which is to say, a discussion that happens perhaps, let's say, in a seminar on Hindutva between academics is not going to be the same as a discussion on Hindutva between politicians.
Correct.
Right? So therefore, the space will determine the degree of nuance that is possible. However, the nature of political discussion is that it's going to be moti buddhi only beyond a point. Right? But to the extent that it captures the point mota, I'm okay with it. And there is a good reason for this. Why? This particular position has not had representation for such a long time and such a forceful representation. And as a community which is already lacking in options, I am not going to be nitpicking here to say I need someone who is able to define Hindutva with a greater degree of nuance. I mean, let's get real.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा.
The issue is टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है.
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब.
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप.
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI. It does not lie.